All right. Right. So, Virat, can you please help me to understand about yourself, Vinod?
Yeah. So I am an SAP technical consultant. I have an experience of close to 8 years in the technical side. Like I work in ABAP, S4HANA, and SAP UFI. But I worked in India in TCS for like 3 years, and then I came for my masters in US, and I joined here as a SAP program analyst. Um, in this role, we like I'm working as a technical as well as a functional side. So mainly we deal with the PP and QM. uh, we don't have any, like in our current role, like in our current company, we don't have any functional consultants as such. So it's like um, techno functional kind of role. But uh, the reason why I'm joining this session is because again I just wanted to grow further into career as a techno functional. So that will help me taking up the next jobs that I'm going to look for, uh, as my experience grows. So that's one of the main reasons I'm joining this session, Harsha.
All right, Vinod. So you
So,
you
to actually give you my background, from the last 5 years, I'm mainly working as a SAP ABAP consultant and UI5 consultant. But I'll also deal with I'm very familiar with the concepts of BOM, um, bill of materials, routings, demand planning, forecast planning, MRP run, um, production profile, shop floor activities, like all these things. But the thing is, like I just wanted to learn it in a step by step process. I will actually jump into to see, like when we have an issue in terms of configuration which is related to BOM routings, MRP runs, forecast runs, all these things. But I also deal with like part of inspection types, inspection plannings, quality notifications, like all these things. But sampling procedures, like I have like understanding of like all these terminologies, but I just wanted to learn like step by step, that will help me understand like end to end process, like what actually goes in.
got it, got it. So it's basically you are trying to focus on the end-to-end process flow. I mean, how exactly the SAP has suggested us to, run through the process, right? So
Yes, I
that
mean,
is what.
I also wanted to see, um, since everything is moving to HANA, is there any change in terms of the core modules, like are PPQM going to be the same, or like are they going to move it to the cloud? Like what I'm hearing is like uh, you know PP is something that they're looking at IBP or something. Like I'm just hearing this word from a couple of weeks. So I wanted to also know,
No,
is there or
IPP,
like,
yeah, I got your point. I think, see, I think when we are talking about SAP ECC, right? Probably you know that we were having a concept called as a sales order planning, so sales and operation planning. We usually call
yeah,
it as a SOP, right?
yeah.
What we used to do is like you need to get the demand, or you have to identify the forecast and load the forecast as a demand, and then you follow certain process, like you are going to aggregate and you are going to disaggregate at a product level, and then you are going to identify for a weekly how much demand we can anticipate. So such kind of things we were doing in ECC, which we eventually we used to call it as a S&OP, right? So sales operation planning. Now
Hmm.
what SAP has done is like, it's not new, it's already almost if I rightly remember, it is almost from 8 years or 7 years we are having the IBP. Okay. So IBP
Okay,
is
okay.
nothing but integrated business planning. So what we are
Okay.
going to do in integrated business planning, Vinod, in the integrated business planning, we have just spinned off whatever the sales and operation planning we were having. So that is basically spinned off as a IBP. So IBP is basically the Excel tool, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
IBP is not a product of SAP. So
Okay.
it was a different, um
Yeah, basically
entity of.
it's a third party software which SAP
Right.
bought. Okay.
Yeah, SAP has bought that, and what they have done, they have moved most of the sales and operation planning towards the IBP. Now, what
Okay.
SAP always suggests is like you go with the IBP because they have to sell that particular product, right? So they will say
Mm-hmm.
that you have to go with the IBP so to carry out your sales and operation planning. So where are we
Okay.
going to see the sales and operation planning? Usually, the sales and operation planning is going to happen at a consumer industries, right? Where
Okay.
there will be nobody knows how much the consumer is going to buy, right? So let's say if you are talking about a toothpaste or a brush or a soap or whatever it is, nobody knows
Mm-hmm.
how much it is going to get sell on the particular quarter or a particular month. So it's all
Yes.
anticipated. So those activity will be done in IBP. From there, we are going to extract the data, and that data will be taken as a demand in the S4 HANA, or
Okay.
even it can happen in ECC as well. Now, this is
Okay.
altogether a different concept, IBP, where you call it as a control towers, you call it as a different other stuff. So, control tower is basically you are going, let's say, you are working in Singapore, right? So, we
Mm-hmm.
usually
Mm-hmm.
call it as a hub Asia. I mean, I'm just
Okay.
trying to explain you. So, when we
Yes,
call
yes,
it
yes.
as a when we call it as a hub Asia, what is going to happen? So from a Singapore, you are going to take the demand from the Indonesia, you're going to take the demand from Malaysia, India, Pakistan, everywhere you're going to get the demands. So you
Mm-hmm.
are going to pull all those things as a different control tower. You'll put some logic for that. And after that particular logic, you are going to extract the right information. Let's say that
Okay.
you have this X amount of stock and there is a Y amount of demand, X minus Y would be your netted forecast. So something like
Yes.
that we are going to do. So all
Okay.
this concept is moved to IBP. So you have
Okay.
you have a different set of person or consultant who are specialized on IBP, because IBP
Okay.
is such a vast concept. Like you require a dedicated person to carry out that particular activity.
Okay.
So yeah, in a similar way, PPDS has come into picture, right? We were having a
Yes, yeah,
AP.
like that's what I wanted to ask. That was my next question. So when I was like actually looking for some like functional knowledge, or like some training kind of thing. I was also heard like there is a concept which is coming up like PPDS for S4 HANA.
Yeah, it is already there from very long.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
when we are talking about PPDS, again, this is a similar side of a concept. I mean,
Okay.
IBP is basically an Excel-based product where there are certain plugins. You have to install those plugin into your Excel, right? So
Hmm.
when
Hmm.
you install the plugin into your Excel, what is going to happen? Whatever the demand planning you're going to do or a forecast planning you're going to do in the Excel is directly interfaced to your SAP. So it's a
Okay.
sort of a cloud come Excel product, IBP. When it comes to a
Okay.
PPDS, PPDS is basically called as a ePPDS, right? Embedded
Hmm.
Production Planning and
Production.
Detail
Yeah.
Scheduling.
Details.
So
Yeah.
when we call it as a embedded, it indicates that it is embedded in the S4. It's not a
Okay.
satellite system. So
Got it.
you have to pay money to get the license for that, and if you want to use that, there are certain process. Again, as the name indicates, production planning and detailed scheduling. It's everything is very detailed. So you are
Okay.
going to have a production order. You are not going to do the capacity planning
So,
within the
so,
S4.
so
Mhm.
sorry to interrupt you, but right now I'm working in the manufacturing company. Okay, so like day in day out, um, like we deal with production orders, like the production profiles, work centers, like all I have like the terminology wise, like configurations wise, I know like where to check and do everything in the system. But as I said, like, I want you to guide me. um like, when we say, like, that's why I asked Sai also. So I'm looking for a PP come QM training, because, like, these two are like tightly integrated. So I work in PP as well as QM, but we don't deal with like in depth of the QM. But as I said, like, we deal with like inspection characteristic setups in the routings, the planning, the quality notifications, sampling procedures, test equipment management, whatever you said. Like, we deal with all these. As I see your slide, by looking at the name, I can tell, like, okay, where to go into the system, and like what we need to look at, like all these things. But I want you to guide me. Okay, this is the first process we will take, and this is the way how you mentioned in your slides is what I'm looking at.
So that will be taken care. I mean, I think no, what I prefer is like we have to have some starting point, right? So
Hmm.
the integration is totally accepted. Like while doing the production process, you are going to have the integration of all these things. It is
Hmm.
not that, uh, we will be able to jump directly into the quality management because there are certain process which we need to understand. Even though
Yes, yes.
we call it as a PPQM, QM is a altogether a different concept. PP is altogether a different concept. So
Yes, yes, that's
QM,
why I totally agree. That is the reason I told, like, because I was actually looking for this training for a very long time. So I was in touch with Sai for a so long time, and now somehow I got connected to you. But the thing is, like, I would like to begin with, like, uh, can we start with PP? Like, instead of QM, or like how it's going to be if we
I
if we
think
do it in that way.
I think that would be the right approach. That's what I feel. I mean, I'm not sure. Sai, do you have any other plan? I think we can start with PP and then we can go to QM. Sai, you are there in the call.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there. Sorry, I missed that.
Can we go with a PP and later part can we go with a QM or how do you think that?
Maybe we can plan about it, Arsha.
All
We'll
right.
see. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, just to give you a brief about my experience, Vinod. I mean, I have around 15 years of experience in terms of PPQM. So I mainly deal with the production planning, quality management, and I deal with plant maintenance, project system, as well as material management. I work as a solution architect. Uh, in terms of a supply chain management. So that's
Yeah,
that's a background about me.
that's good to know, Harsha. So, like, as I said, like, um, uh, for me, like, to I mean, if you guide me, like, from PP to QM, so I'm very much happy to go in that direction. and
Absolutely.
um, and mm, so um, in terms of, like, the connecting to the sessions, and like, how is it going to be, like, we connect daily for, like, certain
So,
time, or like, how
yeah.
it works.
So let me just give you a clear clarity about those aspects. See, um,
Mhm.
I work for US shift. Okay, so I
I
work
got
for
it.
few. I mean, I handle multiple US project simultaneously along with our team. So I will
Got
be
it.
not available in the evening hours, India evening hours, and I feel
Mhm.
it more comfortable during this point in time. So that is
Yeah,
one
so
point.
I am also very much comfortable in this time, because, like, 10:30 if we start, like, 8 o'clock in your time, any, like, this time is very apt for me, because, like, I have a baby, a small baby. So, mm, we share the household chores. So it's my responsibility to put her to sleep. So I'll put her to sleep by 10:30, so that's a perfect timing for me.
Yeah. So that's fine. And See, I am also handling one more quality management batch where still we are in a conversation. When are we going to have that? So based on
Mhm.
that, I think I will let you know. And we are not going to have all the 7 days. So it'll be what I feel is like we are going to have it for 4 days or 3 days. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
that
well,
that is actually an apt way of going about it, because like if you get like 2 days or 3 days in between, and like if we get some hands-on onto the whatever we you have
absolutely.
taught us, that will actually help us to understand in a better way.
Yeah. So that is what really I also feel because see, for me, conceptually I know and I should be able to take every day 1 hour and wrap it up in 3 4 weeks. I can do that, but it is not
Yeah.
the right way because I mean I think Sai know about me. I mean I want to justify whatever the training I'm going to give to the
No,
people.
I mean I totally I'm totally with you on this, because um, if you take like mm, just like a training, if you just wanted to finish it off, you can finish it off, because that don't stop you from giving the training as like somebody expecting. But since you want it to be in a way that when you teach something, like somebody has to get into the systems and do what they actually wanted to do, so then that's the good way of doing it. So I'm totally with you on this.
Yeah. So that is second point, and third point would be like see the average session will be of 40 to 1 hour, 40 minutes to 1 hour, right? So certain
Okay.
concept might drag, certain concept might not drag. So because
Okay.
if I want to give you the training, it is not that I will just wake up and I'll talk to you. On the
Sure.
previous day, I have to run the process, and based on that only, I should be able to take you to the session because I need to ensure that everything is intact. So that is
Sure.
third point. And the
Okay.
fourth point would be what? Yeah, let's have this in mind clearly, right? I mean I keep telling to everybody, see, I'm not doing it as a business for sure because
Mhm.
uh, I mean let me be very transparent. I in a year probably I'll take 4 5 trainings, not more than that,
Okay.
because I usually I'll not do. And the reason why I keep doing this is one is win-win. I'm going to teach someone which I will get satisfied. The second thing is I will also get brushed with my old knowledge, right? So I need to
Sure.
keep doing this because every project I may not be able to act. So for that reason, I'm going to do this training. So
Yeah.
when I'm talking about that, you also need to keep this in mind. You know, there are certain areas which even I may not be able to, answer you spontaneously because
Yeah.
we are all human being, right? So some
Yeah.
people will think that if you are a trainer or if you are a teacher, you should know end to end. We know
Yeah.
end to end, but certain things we also need to, go
Brush
back,
up. Like, yeah.
brush up and come back. So there can
Hmm.
be certain areas, let's say that process manufacturing, right? If it is a discrete, if it is a repetitive, that's fine. Process is one of the complicated area, I would say. So when we are talking about a process management, I think it will go for a 2 to 3 session if I am right. So that
Hmm.
is where we are going to talk about certain interfaces, right? So you have a MES system. How are you going to integrate your, information back to your MES system? So in
Hmm.
certain cases, I may not be able to demonstrate because we are talking on a sandbox. So in
Okay.
sandbox, there are certain limitation. Hope being a SAP consultant, I think you should be able to understand that.
Yes, yes, yes. Like,
Yeah,
that part, like I'm like very much okay. Like,
yeah,
if thing like, but you will give the guidance of like, how we can do it in our systems, right? Like, since
yeah.
like,
That is
since we are working in SAP, we have access to like, we can do whatever we want in our development system. So
absolutely,
um,
absolutely,
so like, let's say if you're just showing in the sandbox, let's say if we are stuck, but if you give us the instructions on like how we proceed in the live system, so that will be
absolutely.
helpful, so that we can go in that direction to see like, where we actually end up.
Absolutely. So let's say that we are talking about one of the IDOC related to the production order. So let's say
Yeah.
we have a LIPRO, LIOPRO is the IDOC which we are going to have. Now, what I
Mm-hmm.
can show is like how are you going to trigger that against the
Yeah.
production order, I can say. But there are certain basic message setting. All this thing has to be integrated or has to be done by your PA consultant to pass this information to a destination. Now
Got it.
that will not be available. So what I can do is like I can show that this is what we are going to use, and you
Okay.
have to talk to your PI consultant and get this enabled. So such kind
Got
of a thing can be, s- I will be able to tell those things, but I may not be able to demonstrate, because
it. Got it.
that is one thing. I mean, any trainer or a trainee should be aware. So they should not feel at the mid of a training or at the end of a training saying that, like you have just shown me certain theoretical for certain areas. Where is the practical? I know that you are little pragmatic because being in SAP, I think you should be able to understand these things. When I am trying to deal with a fresher, so I think it is very hard for me to convince them because I want the satisfaction for the trainee as well. I mean, I never mind taking this for 3 months also.
No,
Uh,
that's why even like if I have to be transparent with you, like I'm in touch with Sai for almost more than 1 year now. So I was keep on asking me like, can you tell me, like, can you connect me to a PPQM trainer, PPQM trainer? Like, it never ended up in a concrete, um, uh, agreement. Like, we always feel like, Sai used to tell me like, um, mm, okay, we'll find somebody, but he will be busy in something else, and I will get busy because like, um, we have so many things going on. So like that's how like it actually carried out. But now, like, since I'm actually talking to you, and I felt like, okay, even though I wait for like 1 year, for the last 1 year, this is good thing, because like I'll be knowing like what I'm actually learning. Like that's where I wanted to end up. So this is very, this is from my side. So I mean,
Yeah, I mean, see, once you have a clear transparency, right? I think you know the expectation. I mean, I know certain people will say that, like I'm going to teach that, this, that, this. I'm not like that. What is
yeah,
there, that is what you are going to get trained. So
yeah,
you
because
should
like
have that clarity,
what's actually being used in a day-to-day scenario, and like,
right?
that's all we want. Like, we anything new, obviously we will go in the direction of what you taught us, or like, we go to the SDN, or like, get some inputs and go from there. But the basics has to be like strong. So that's
That's
what I'm looking.
absolutely right. That's absolutely right. I mean, I majorly focus on the basic concepts. See,
Yeah.
once you have a clarity, see, it's what is SAP? SAP is basically one of the tool among many, right? So it is
Yeah.
anybody can do that. I mean, if you are talking about a ABAP, if I don't know the ABAP, if I get trained for 1 month or 2 months, it may be hard for a year, but once I start
Yeah.
doing that, I think it'll become like a car
Yeah.
driving, right? So it is
Yes.
not
Yes.
that hard. So
Yes.
likewise, when we are talking about a functional setting at a different place, if you try to see the functional consultant, you see that they are, like doing something wonder. It is not like that, right? You are just
Yeah.
trying to address their issue by giving what is a solution that can be, done from a SAP point of view. It's all about like joining the dots or connecting the dots, what you call. So you have to have some clarity about the manufacturing process. It's not that you only are going to mug up the things. We
Yeah.
have to go, we have to analyze. Let's say that we are talking about a manufacturing, so you have to virtually think you are there in the manufacturing setup, and you need to get into their shoes and understand. So with that, I think once you get that conceptually clear, any ABAP, and you should be able to debug that, and you can break the certain ports, and you should be able to get into there. So those things can be done. It's all about concept. So that is what
Got it.
I primarily give preference.
Got it, Harshad. Yeah.
Right.
So
I
so
think that's all
let's
what
say,
I had. Vinod.
so
Mhm.
how are we going to, like, let's say, as you said, you are already dealing with one of the QM session, like QM batches, like that you are going to finalize. But so we are going to first start PP, and then so I wanted to be clear on that one.
Yeah, we will start with the PP. I mean, I'm pretty clear with that. See, for my sake, I will not try to, merge you into the batch. I'm not going to do that. Very clear. Even if I want to take it a couple of time, that's fine for me. But let us go with a PP because without knowing PP, directly jumping into QM does not make sense. That's what I feel
Got
personally. So let's
got
start with the Q. Let's start with the PP. Once we complete the PP, probably we can take the QM part. I mean, it's fine. Even if I do it multiple time, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Thank
Also, sorry, Arsha, sorry to interrupt. We have Manish who have joined now. Just maybe we can have quick conversation. Yeah.
Hey, hi Manish. Good morning.
Hi,
Hey,
sir. Good evening. Oh, good morning. Good morning.
all right. So I think we were discussing with Vinod related to the PPQM part. So Sai, I think Manish is related to PP or QM or what?
Currently, I'm working on PP and QM.
Okay. So you are looking for a training in terms of PPQM or what exactly?
So, exactly, uh, what what kind of training you are provide, like PP and also or in the both module?
See, I think I was just talking to Vinod related to the same topic. Like we were talking from 30 minutes. So both PP and QM, what we are trying to not discuss. So I'm not sure what is the background. Sai, I think we can have one telephonic conversation with Manish. I think
Done, done.
as he has pitched in the mid of it, session or a conversation.
Mhm.
Let's wind up with Vinod because we will respect his time as well. So probably if you want,
Yes,
we can
sir.
connect back with Manish.
Done, done, done. Yeah. So, Vinod, you have anything to discuss? Yeah.
you. I'm good right now, Sai. So just keep me posted on when this batch is going to start, and all these things, so that we'll go from there.
With your connect with in your morning. I guess you're almost late now, so we'll connect with you in the morning. We'll discuss about the time and start of date. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So the start date, if you give me the start date, that would be great, so that I can plan things accordingly. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, again, thanks for your time, and thanks for connecting me to Harsha. We'll look forward to join the session shortly.
Done, done. Done. Yeah. Sure. Vinod.
Thank you, Vinod. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Right. So Manish, if you're fine, we can discuss on this. So what is
Yeah.
that your I mean, what is the background about yourself? Can you please help me to understand about that?
Yeah. My background is I'm I'm working since 2015 in the PP model,
Mm.
and currently I'm working in a certain technology as a PP module consultant.
Mm.
So I have a experience about the production planning.
Okay. So now you are looking for a production planning training or quality management or both? So what is your
So
thought?
actually, I'm looking for only quality management.
Okay. So you are looking only for the quality management and you want to understand how the quality management is going to run, right?
Yes.
Sorry. So from a quality management point of view, I think uh, soon we are going to start one of the batch, which is basically uh, he's a US guy. So we are going to, and he's also having experience in terms of SAP, right? So we are going to start the batch with him. His name is Tony, if I'm right. So probably we can have you in the same batch. So eventually, what we are going to do is like we are going to discuss about the quality management. These are the topics which we are going to cover, right? We are going to talk about the quality management quality in the procurement and sales production. And we will try to see what are the different master data that we have. And based on that, we will try to understand the sampling procedure. We are going to understand the quality inspection process. All this stuff will be covered. So, being a SAP consultant, I think it'll be easy for you to understand all those things because you already know how SAP is going to work, right? I think you are working from past 8 years in SAP. So I don't see it is hard for you to
Yes.
understand from a quality management perspective. You should be able to understand this. So basically, we start with the master data, right? So we will try to understand what are the different master data you have from a quality management perspective, how this is integrated with a different inspection process, right? You have a 01, 04, 03.
Yes.
So how exactly all these things are going to work is what we are going to discuss in this particular session. So there are certain reports, so quality certificate, all this stuff we are going to learn on this particular training. So any specific need or something like that, I think you are looking for a similar kind of process, right?
Yes.
On it. So I think uh, we should be able to do that, Manish.
Yeah. Okay.
So Sai, do you have any other point to add?
Yeah.
Uh,
So, Manish, you have anything, any specific requirement, or you have any questions to ask with Harsha?
just now, not.
Okay. Yeah. And
So
then
when will they start batch?
I'll update you,
I
Manish.
think
Like, I'll connect with you offline on the timings part. Yeah.
Okay. So what will be the fee and
Those, like
the
the no,
duration of that course?
yeah, yeah. Duration will be about 35 hours. Okay. So all those things, like you can ask anything to technical here. Other parts, I'll will take it separately.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So can
So
so can you
yeah,
can you share the that content with me?
done. I'll do that. I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'll
all
send you
right,
the
Manish.
complete separately. Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Manish.
Manish. I think no, from a content perspective and from a technical aspect perspective, I think majorly we deal with all these things on a regular basis. I think it should not be a concern. In case if you join this training, you are going to get a clear clarity about the concept. I think I'm going to repeat the same thing which I repeated for Vinod. So I have around 15 plus years of experience. I work in PP, QM, PM, MM, and PS modules. So I work as a solution architect for the supply chain management in one of the big four. So that is about me. So in terms of a training or teaching, I think you should be able to understand the way we are going to do. It is mostly a practical session rather than the theoretical. So I'm not going to share you the screen PPT and all. I will not just try to say that. So we will take one concept, we will go into SAP and we'll try to run that entire concept. So that's how we are going to do, right?
Okay.
So so from that perspective, I think I would say that you are in a right hand and you should be able to understand it clearly, right? It's not like that we are going to have a 1 year or 2 year experienced person sitting and teaching you by looking into some tutorials. It is not like that. It's a real time experience what I had. So the same thing I'm going to train you.
Okay.
That's all which I wanted to convey to you, Manish. Probably you can just talk to Sai and try to see what best you can do. And Sai, you can update me back. And if it is possible, we can club Manish and Tony together, right? I think he will also get a exposure talking to one of the
Yeah.
US guy. I think it will also help him to explore an opportunity in US as well. I think
Yeah.
it's all about
Sure, sure.
networking. It is all about networking. I think he can also build a network with the US guy.
Yeah, done, got it. Yeah.
All right, Sai. So, all right,
Yeah.
Manish, thank you very much. So, if any
Okay.
question, you can just pass it to Sai and probably I will help you to answer.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Manish.
Hi.